2021, heute ist der 8. Projektmanagement VH7, Vorlesung ist in English. So we continue with our lecture from 2 weeks ago with the activity-based costing. Okay, and we will look at activity-based costing in 6 steps. Okay, the step number 1 is similar to what we have seen already last week. We find the total direct cost. Okay, and this is I'm not going to repeat it. This is the same as step 3, what we saw the other day in traditional accounting. Okay, exactly the same. So we produce the same table, and so I am not going to repeat this. We go to the step 2, and this is a little bit different. You look at your notes from the other day. The step 2 is to find the direct labor and material cost per unit. So here the manufacturing organization provides these products product unit counts for the period. So product A, 900,000 units, and product B are 2.1 million units. Okay, this is already known. The step 2A is find each product's direct cost, direct labor cost per unit, so in this case product A direct labor cost per unit equals 450,000. I don't know if I said dollars or euros last time. I put euros, divided by 900,000 units. Remember that we had a direct labor cost. This is the direct labor cost, and in the step 3 of our traditional accounting, this was the position number 6, if you look at it again. Okay, just remember that. So this gets us a 0.5 euro per unit labor cost. The product B, direct labor cost per unit, is similarly the direct labor cost divided by the number of units, and this equals 0.5 monetary units per product produced unit. So the step 2b, once we have that, is find each product's direct material cost per unit, and product A, direct material cost per unit equals 675,000 euro divided by 900,000 units. This equals 0.75 euros per unit. For product B, direct material cost per unit equals 150,000 divided by 21 units equals 0.5 euro per unit. This is not really rocket science. So step 3 is find the total direct I try to go really slowly, okay? So find the total direct cost for each unit, okay? And this is just adding, okay? So product A equals direct labor cost per unit plus direct material cost per unit. This equals 1.25 euros, and product B, direct labor cost per unit plus direct material cost per unit for B, for A, the equals 100 euros per unit. Okay. Questions so far? So now we start with a real activity-based costing in step 4. So here we identify geht's los. Moment, macht irgendwie komische Sachen hier. Here we identify indirect activity pools, cost drivers, and unit costs. Okay, and this is where the whole real activity-based costing is going to start. So here the analyst, you, okay, identify indirect cost, overhead, activity pools, cost drivers, and unit cost. Okay. Here we are going to look at basically at indirect cost and activity pools. Okay. So let's look at it. Activity pools. What is this? Under activity pools, in activity-based costing, we understand the set of all activities necessary for completing a task, such as processing purchase orders, or performing machine setups. So one activity pool is like describes all activities. Activity pools are the set of all activities necessary to perform a task. Okay. The cost activity pools or to cost activity pools in order to cost them. Activity-based costing identifies activity units that drive the cost for each pool. For example, the total cost for the activity pool processing purchase order is driven by the number of purchase orders processed. Okay. So basically, when we have a process, okay, what we have called a value stream, we first identify certain activity pools or process steps, and in each activity pool, for instance, imagine this is processing purchase order. We identify the process steps, all process steps necessary to perform a purchase order placement, and then we identify a KPI or KPIs or units, okay, that are going to describe the process or are going to, as said, drive the number, the cost for each pool. So we try to look for KPIs, a KPI that correlates highly with the cost associated to this activity. Okay. In this case, we say the number of orders purchased, number of orders processed is going to be the unit, the activity unit, what we call here activity unit, that correlates with the cost associated with processing purchase order. And if this correlation is very high, then we can say that this KPI is, this unit is describing the cost. So if we measure the KPI of number of order processed, we are going to measure the indirectly the cost. Okay, is it clear? So in order to do so, first we identify activity pools and their cost drivers, as well as unit cost. Okay. We can summarize this information. For instance, once we have done our value stream, once we have performed our value stream, we can summarize this information in a table, and then we can say activity pool, for instance number 17, if we follow the list from last week. Activity pool, purchase order. Cost driver, in the units, cost driver, the cost, the total activity for product A, and the total indirect cost for product A. So the cost driver for the purchase order processing is the number of purchase orders. The cost driver is, or the cost unit is 1,800. The total activity, how many times we do it, is 75. So we have a total indirect cost of multiplying both numbers of 135,000. We say machine setup, then we identify the KPI, the number of setups. Each one cost 1,500. We have made 150 setups, so this gets us to 200,025. Then we have number 19, product packaging. Number of products packed. This is the unit cost is 0.2, and I have 900,000 of product A, we know that, so it's a total cost of 180,000. The activity number 20, number of tests, quality test. Each one, machine testing is the activity, and calibration, here we measure it by the number of tests. Each test costs 100 euros. We make 1,000 tests, so we have 100,000. And the last one is maintenance, cleaning, number of bath runs. Each one costs 1,150, and we have each 200, so this means we have 230,000 with a total of 870,000, if I have done this correctly. Okay, this is for product A. Product A. Okay. So as I said, first we identify the activities. We identify the activities from the value stream. And then we find a KPI that correlates with the cost. That explains the cost, or which is a cost driver. Okay? Is it clear? Is it understandable? Questions? So we continue with product B. Same shit. We have the activity pool. Number 17. I don't repeat all the information. I just put the cost driver. I'm just going to put the numbers because we need them later. Okay, so cost driver cost, total activity, product B, a total indirect cost, product B. I'm just going to put the numbers as I said. So this is 25 because the rest is the same, 45,000. Number 18, 100 and 150,000. Number 19 is 500,000, and this means, wow, we have 100,000 here. Number 20 is 2,000, meaning 200,000. And number 21 is 50. So we have 57,500. This gives a total of 552,500 euros. The rest of the columns are just the same. So once we have identified the value stream, the activity pools, and the cost drivers, we go and find per unit indirect cost for each product. So the step number 5. We find per unit indirect cost for each product. So when each product's activity pool cost totals has been calculated, the analyst, so you, can calculate the cost per product unit. Okay. And this is just quite easy because wait a minute. Table 60. One moment. Yeah. So we have the activities, okay? The activity pool. Say activity number 17, which was purchase orders. We have the total indirect cost. We know it for let's say for product A, it's 135,000. We have the cost per product unit of product A, which is 0.15. Okay, this is just dividing 135,000 . So 135,000 divided by 900,000. Okay, this is the total indirect cost divided by the number of units. Gives 130 as a 0.15. So the total indirect cost of B is 45,000, and the cost per product unit of B, doing the same, dividing by the total number of products, is 0.02. Okay, so the total indirect cost equals 180,000 for activity purchase orders. If we do the same, so sorry, let me do it. If we do here also the calculation for this number, so that you don't lose track. Number 18. This is 225,000. This is 0.25. This is 150,000. 0.07. So we have a total of 150,000. Number 19. Similarly, 180,000, 0.2, 100,000, 0.05. This is 280,000. Number 20 is 100,000. 0.11, 200,000, 0.09, 300,000, and then number 21 is 230,000. This is 0.26, 57,500, 0.03, and then 57,500, So under the score we have 1,442,500. Okay. If we add it all up, we get what we already knew. 0.97 and then 552, 500. We already knew this, and this is 0.26. So this is the total indirect cost of both products. Okay. Questions? Well, step number 6, and this is the last step of activity-based costing, deals with calculating profitability for individual products. So the activity-based costing analyst aims to understand product cost accurately and then understand individual product profitability accurately. The aim, in other words, is to find the true gross profit margins for individual products. So we find the true gross profit margin for individual products. This is what we are aiming here. Accountants calculate individual products' profitability as a gross margin based on product revenues and total product production costs. And we can summarize this goal with with the following table. Okay, so we can products compare. So we have product A and product B, and we have a total. So position number 22 of our big table are the units produced and sold. I repeat it so that we have it already here. We know this. Okay, so we have a total of 3 million units sold and produced. Number 23 is the total direct cost. Okay, so we have 1 to 5,000, and here we have 2.1 million, and then so we have a total cost of 225,000. We have a total overhead cost 870,000, 552, 500. So we have a total of 1,422,500. We have revenues per unit. Okay, of $3 and $2. We know this. All this information is already known. Okay, and now we have the direct cost. Per unit, which is just dividing 23 by 22. And this gives us 1.25 and 1. And we have the overhead cost per unit, which is dividing by 24 by 22. And this gives us 0.97 and 0.26. We have our gross profit per unit. Gross profit per unit, which is 25 minus 26 minus 27. So our revenue minus the cost, it's the profit. Okay, so this is not really difficult math. So we get a gross profit per unit. So we earn 0.78 euros per unit in product A and 0.26 euros per unit on product B. So our gross profit margin is 28 divided by 25. The percentage of the revenue is 26.1% and 36.8%. Okay. Are you cool with this? Any questions? So the conclusions of our example, the first conclusion, is that activity-based costing finds different indirect costs per unit for each product. Okay. And traditional costing, unlike the traditional costing, where indirect cost per unit are the same for all products. Okay, this is the first conclusion. Second conclusion, activity-based costing analyzes, recognizes that product A uses more activity pool resources than product B. Okay. Third conclusion, on a per unit basis, activity-based costing finds product B more profitable than product A. Okay, we see this here. I have a bigger gross margin. I earn more money with product B than with product A. Any question? So what is the trick here? Why people do not perform always activity-based costing? Because it's not always possible. It is just not possible to find correlates on KPIs that correlates exactly with the cost. And it is not always possible to perform activity-based costing because it's just very expensive to perform activity-based costing. To take the value stream and perform the necessary analysis of all activities so that you get this table here in step number 5 accurately done. Okay, so step number 5, which comes from step number 4. Okay, so to get this table done takes a lot of energy, and it's not always possible. Plain and simple. It is something that is nice to have most of the times. It would be cool to have it, but you not always get it. I am just seeing I forgot to put here that the 0.02 is just dividing 450,000 by 2,100,000 units. Okay, total indirect cost. So any questions, please? Hello? Any questions? Keine Fragen? Na gut, dann bin ich fertig mit der heutigen Vorlesung. I'm done. Please make sure you understand this because this is relevant for the exam, okay? So I will be asking something similar almost for sure in the exam, of course with different numbers, and you will be needing to do the numbers and explain the conclusions and the whole thing just as we did now. The now and the other week, past week. And of course, if you have any questions, make sure you ask on time. Otherwise, kind of it's bad. Okay. So enjoy the rest of the week and stay safe. Bye-bye.